Let's execute an immediate high-gear tactical vector shift away from cozy small-town workshops and sunny roads and step directly onto the brutally cold, calculation-heavy tracking grids of wilderness search and rescue ops, high-altitude forensic profiling, and high-frequency criminal evasion arrays. We are crossing the threshold directly into the dense, fog-choked pine forests and treacherous mountain ridges of Sweetwater Falls with Vanished in the Falls, the exceptional, rapid-pulsing 15th deployment for the legendary, chart-topping Sweetwater Falls Mystery series by the reigning sovereign of small-town procedural suspense, Elle Gray. This deep woods operation delivers a thrilling, deeply volatile exploration of weaponized wilderness isolation, systematic local cover-up plots, and obsessive investigative survival matrices colliding at terminal velocity. Let's lay out the strategic narrative grid. If you are a fan of high-octane, pitch-black psychological thrillers where an elite, hyper-focused investigator must navigate an absolute maze of corrupt county history, unmapped cavern systems, and severe atmospheric hazards while running an aggressive protective loop around a target, where an analytical mind uses deep threat profiling, geological surveillance tracking, and absolute forensic ruthlessness to dismantle a multi-generational dark conspiracy, and where the author utilizes an incandescent, seasoned detective hunting a ghostly mountain predator diagnostic routine to test our hero's structural survival perimeters, this book is engineered to lock you in. Gray completely dominates the rural procedural noir dynamic, capturing the heart-racing emotional momentum, intense physical friction, and crushing wilderness isolation popularized by genre vargs like Melinda Lee, Kendra Elliott, Lisa Jackson, and Mary Burton, while treating backcountry tactical logistics, law enforcement tracking tradecraft, and raw psychological vulnerability with absolute technical mastery. The narrative tracking grid zeroes in on our central protagonist axis, a masterfully calculated duet of investigative brilliance and raw defensive power. Our lead detective is the ultimate blueprint of psychological resilience, operating under a strict, calculation-heavy routine to piece together the shattered, untraceable fragments of a high-profile disappearance, while trapped inside an isolated community vibe where every local resident is an active gatekeeper of dangerous secrets. Her daily workspace is a cutthroat playground of jagged terrain boundaries, freezing riverbanks, and hidden camera arrays planted in the wilderness. Her internal defense mechanisms are locked down tight behind a layer of deep survival focus. Her entire analytical focus strictly consumed by parsing historical missing persons files, monitoring local weather threat metrics, and guarding her team from being entirely deleted by a ruthless shadow mastermind lurking in the timber. The spark ignites when her active scanning perimeter registers a devastating structural anomaly, the uncovering of a hidden clue deep near the roaring waterfalls that completely rewrites the final parameters of her tracking grid. A brilliant calculation-heavy local specialist, a protective asset hardened by years of mountain rescue tradecraft, unveils the dark geopolitical matrix of the peak. He is the definitive model of a tactical survivalist, his entire lifestyle built around running absolute, unyielding security filters and psychological chess moves to eliminate anyone who threatens his possessive claim over the mountain's deepest truths. The official diagnostic metrics of the local sheriff department flatline instantly, as the hidden truths behind a decade-long web of unexplained disappearances, corporate land fraud, and systemic familial gaslighting are systematically exposed. A terminal countdown sequence engages. The protective canopy crumbles, and our protective duo runs completely out of standard civilian escape vectors. The tactical parameters instantly explode as the search for answers turns completely offensive, transforming their wilderness outpost into a volatile psychological pressure cooker. Our veteran Dark Protector duo goes into a full-scale systemic lockdown, deploying their massive intelligence apparatus, private tracking networks, and lethal close-quarters combat tradecraft to isolate the mastermind's coordinates. When deceptive town elders, hostile local enforcers, and calculation-heavy black market algorithms launch aggressive countermeasures to permanently silence the lead investigator, the team's survival instincts engage their final deployment tracks. Every midnight boundary sweep through the foggy woods, every silent execution of an interrogation protocol behind closed cabin doors, and every intense moment of channeling their raw mutual determination to withstand the physical trauma chips away at their reliance on standard societal frameworks. What follows is an exceptional high-stakes war of perspective, tactical position, and raw human grit. We watch the mountain town's deceptive perimeters completely unwrapped as Gray reveals that the true victory requires more than just surviving the freezing elements. It demands an absolute, uncompromising annihilation of the forces pulling the strings from the shadows. While our central duo smooths over each other's psychological and defensive blind spots with devastating analytical force, a brutal series of high-altitude confrontations shifts the clock into its terminal phase, proving that the executors have tracked them to their final sanctuary. To survive the impending lock grid trap and
permanently secure their freedom, our resilient pair must unleash an absolute, unyielding defense of their dark, undeniable bond. It is a small-town procedural, psychological suspense, wilderness thriller, high-velocity alpha protector masterpiece that treats deep tactical logistics and intense emotional friction with elite precision. The tension here burns with a sharp, calculation-heavy intensity. We are talking about that high-frequency, one uncovered footprint triggers a fatal retaliation energy, where a sudden pause in a dark cavern confrontation, an unexpected shift in your partner's protective physical posture during a tense briefing, or heavy possessive realization that the predator has completely mapped your escape route carries massive structural weight. Gray writes with an exceptionally fresh, vivid, and beautifully blunt voice, perfectly capturing the cold, sterile hum of satellite communication arrays, the oppressive, heavy atmosphere of a rain-slicked forest canopy, and the distinct, subtle scent of wet pine, damp earth, gun oil, fresh blood, and pure, unadulterated suspense. What truly elevates this 15th installment into elite territory is the author's unmatched ability to balance realistic tracking mechanics and genuine high-stakes forensic tradecraft, alongside a breathtaking narrative pace and deep emotional hooks. Our protagonist duo doesn't rely on unbelievable superficial Hollywood action tropes. Their immense situational intelligence, strategic patience, and profound survival instincts match the complexity of the chaotic criminal underworld they dominate step for step, making their choices to risk everything feel profoundly authentic and deeply gripping. The pacing moves with calculated momentum, tracking intense conversational standoffs and breathtaking forensic breakthroughs before ratcheting up to an absolute jaw-dropping final confrontation that delivers total, hard-earned closure to their horizon. Vanished in the Falls is the definitive pro-level upgrade your high-stakes small-town thriller and contemporary wilderness suspense fiction library demands right now. It is elegant, immensely fast-paced, and utterly unputable. It proves that when your entire sanctuary is targeted by a cold, calculating institutional monster, the most revolutionary play you can execute is to lock your perimeters, embrace your inner survivalist, and fight like hell alongside your protector to rewrite the data. So secure your personal reading sanctuary, review your emotional defensive perimeters, open your Kindle, and prepare to track the falls.